Story 1: Graveyard Shift. Alone, updating Burger King decor. The dusty, life-sized mascot's fixed, plastic smile felt unnervingly judgmental in the dim light. As I worked, its plastic eyes seemed to follow me. I dismissed it as fatigue, a trick of light, but the feeling of being watched intensified. A relic tucked away, I blamed the dim, buzzing lights. My mind played tricks, just the late hour, I told myself. I focused on tasks, still a prickle on my neck. I kept glancing over my shoulder, sensing its silent, observing gaze. Each time the king was motionless, yet the surveillance persisted. Hairs on my arms stood, just isolation, I rationalized. Grabbed a soda, avoided its direct gaze. Peripheral check by the window unchanging. I exhaled, this was absurd. Returning, I paused. Had the king shifted, head tilted imperceptibly, my breath hitched. Imagination, I tried to believe. Walked closer, heart thudding, just the angle, the light, desperate for sanity, but unease festered, a cold knot. Back to cleaning, its presence was acute with my back turned, a silent observer waiting for a mistake. Its plastic eyes glinted as I passed, a trick of flickering fluorescence, but the glint felt personal, acknowledging my fear. From the restroom, I saw it, facing away from its spot. Not a trick, my blood ran cold, this wasn't possible. Had I bumped it? Impossible, I was alone. I took a step, I blinked, it snapped back facing the window. I rubbed my eyes, heart hammered, hallucinating, sleep-deprived, my memory blurred reality, I needed to finish. Moved like a ghost, avoiding its gaze, every creak, every hum amplified. The silence was menacing now. I whispered, just let me do my job. Words hung in the stale air, absorbed. I felt foolish, more terrified. The game began, taking trash out. The king was by the window, returned, expecting it there. It wasn't, spot empty. My eyes darted, searching. Panic rose, where was it? Impossible. Then I saw it by the kitchen door, its back to me, moved silently, impossibly. My heart leaped. Eyes shut, counted to 3, opened them, still there. My mind screamed in protest. This couldn't be happening. Stumbled back, tripping, trash fell. It didn't turn. A silent sentinel, its cold, heavy presence pressed down. Scrambled up, legs shaking. Had to confirm, crept towards the door. Cold radiated off its plastic. 5 feet away, it began to turn, slowly, deliberately, head first, then body, eyes fixed on me. That smile stretched impossibly wide, corners curling, not friendly, predatory, knowing, a dark grin. Paralyzed, unable to move, its dead plastic eyes bored into my soul, stripping courage. It knew. Then back by the window, I blinked, it was gone from the kitchen door, only spilled trash remained. My head swam, dizzy, nauseous, losing my mind. I clutched my head, but cold dread was undeniable. Cleaned kitchen, avoiding dining area. Every clatter, drip made me jump, peeking out nervously. Each peek, king motionless by window. Fear remained. It was watching, waiting for me to drop guard. Approaching counter, I hugged the wall, eyes glued to king, daring it to move. It didn't. Wiping counter, back to dining area, heard a soft asterisk thump asterisk. Heart stopped, spun, it was behind me. Not by window, not by kitchen, behind counter where I stood, inches from drive-through, smile mocking. Choked cry, stumbled back, hit register. Eyes glowed faintly, reflecting green, it was playing. Fled to back office, slammed door, fumbling lock, hands trembling, pressed back against door, panting. My sanctuary felt exposed, pictured its silent pursuit, plastic smile, not safe even here. Phone dead, uncharged, cruel irony. I was truly, terrifyingly alone, no help. Time lost meaning, every shadow, creak, flicker, its return, I was prey. Heart beat frantically, throat dry, muscles rigid, exhausted. Sleep was an impossible luxury. It was out there waiting, cold, heavy presence seeped through door, enjoying my fear. Faint scratching at door, asterisk tap, 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 asterisk, plastic fingernails, impossible, just the building settling. The scratching stopped, then a low asterisk thump asterisk against the door, right outside, its immense, silent presence. Pressed into corner, trying to be invisible, no escape, no weapon, just terror. Not a joke, not fatigue, this was real, mascot alive, tormenting me, cold certainty. Had to get out back door, but through dining area again, it would be waiting, I knew. Deep breath, crept to door, run for it, get past it to back exit, hand reached for cold knob. Flung door open, adrenaline surged, dining area empty, brief, foolish hope, looked to back exit. There it was, directly blocking the only exit, back to me, red cape prominent, it anticipated. Slowly it turned, head then body. Painted smile stretched impossibly wide, revealing a black void. Plastic eyes, usually dull, glowed malevolent, ancient red, bone-deep chill. It was alive, it wanted me. Pure adrenaline, I ran, shoved past it, feeling icy resistance. No look back, sprinting to cold night. I quit, story no one believed, blamed stress. Still see that smile in nightmares, every BK I wonder if King watches. Story 2, my son Leo loved the play place, our Saturday ritual, but this time an unusual quiet settled over the colorful tubes. I felt uneasy. No usual screams of kids, just unsettling silence. I tried to ignore the strange feeling that something was deeply wrong. He vanished into the entrance tunnel. His happy laugh echoed, then died too quickly in the pervasive stillness. From my table I watched the empty entrance. No other children, just Leo somewhere deep inside that structure. A peculiar chill seeped into the restaurant. The play place entrance looked darker, more foreboding than usual. Its vibrant plastic colors seemed muted now. The entrance yawned like a hungry, silent maw waiting. A Saturday deserted, no other parents, no children. This was unprecedented, deeply unsettling. I felt a sudden urge to call Leo back, but he was gone, swallowed by the plastic maze. 5 minutes no Leo. I rushed to the entrance. My hand trembled, pushing aside the plastic flaps. I had to find him. Inside, the world shifted. It wasn't the compact structure I knew. It felt impossibly vast. Disorientation hit, familiar turns vanished. The bright plastic became a dizzying, endless labyrinth. This play place was enormous, impossibly so, a cavernous, colorful maw defying its exterior. The air was heavy, stale, and strangely cold. An oppressive silence reigned, pressing in on me. Tunnels twisted into impossible shapes. My sense of direction vanished. Nothing made sense here. Panic seized me. This wasn't a play place. It was a monstrous, living, plastic nightmare. The entrance tunnel was gone. Only twisting paths remained, leading deeper into the unknown. A yellow slide, usually to the ball pit, now ended abruptly in a solid blue wall. Impossible. I touched the plastic. It felt warm, faintly pulsating, almost alive beneath my hand. A section of orange wall rippled, shifting. A new, narrow opening appeared where none existed. The play place actively changed. Corridors vanished, replaced by claustrophobic new passages. I was caught in a living maze, walls pressed in, guiding me deeper, refusing escape. The bright colors, once cheerful, now seemed garish, sickening. My head spun with fear. My phone had no signal, the time was frozen. Time itself felt warped, useless here. The air grew thick, heavy, with an unseen presence. Breathing became a painful effort. I felt watched. Every plastic panel seemed to hold eyes, observing my frantic, futile search. Then faint laughter, distant, ethereal, bouncing from the maze's unseen depths. It wasn't joyful, stretched, distorted like a broken record. My blood ran cold. I stumbled towards the sound, but it receded, a cruel lure, always out of reach. No other child, no parent, just endless plastic and those haunting, mocking echoes. The chilling truth, this laughter wasn't real, a phantom lure drawing me deeper. A sudden, biting cold enveloped me. My breath plumed visibly in the frigid air. Colors turned stark, monochromatic. A tangible dread filled the space, suffocating. Then a soft, slithering whisper. Not Leo's voice, not human. It emanated from the deepest shadows, from the plastic itself. A predatory sound, ancient hunger. It called my son's name, drawing him deeper. Through a tunnel I saw him, Leo, still facing away at the edge of something terrifying. Before him the floor ended, a gaping, impossibly dark void radiating profound cold. Behind Leo, a shadowy form coalesced, indistinct but menacing, reaching for my body. Adrenaline surged. I lunged, a primal scream tearing from my throat. I grabbed Leo, yanking him from the precipice. His eyes were wide, vacant. The place groaned, tubes constricted, passages slammed shut. It was fighting back. I clawed our way out, squeezing through closing gaps. We burst free, gasping. We stumbled onto the restaurant floor. Leo was limp, dazed, but alive. I looked back, normal, bright plastic, no void, no shifting walls, just a place. But I knew its secret, what lurked within. How many children have truly vanished? Story 3. This happened to me, Alex, working the graveyard shift at Burger King. The hours dragged, punctuated only by the hum of the freezer and the occasional lonely car. Nothing ever changed until one night a truly decrepit vehicle pulled into the drive-thru. Its paint was peeling and the exhaust coughed. A gaunt, hollow-eyed man stared out from behind the wheel. His face was pale, almost translucent, and his eyes seemed to hold an ancient weariness. He looked like he hadn't slept in years. His voice, when it came through the speaker, was a raspy whisper. 2 Whoppers, large fries, and a black coffee. It was a simple order, but something about its delivery and the man himself made a shiver run down my spine. I took his payment, my fingers brushing his cold, papery skin. He drove off, the car sputtering into the night. I dismissed it as just another weird night. It's Burger King, after all, you see all sorts. I wiped down the counter, trying to shake the lingering feeling of unease. The clock ticked slowly towards 3 a.m. Then, precisely an hour later, at 4 a.m., the familiar cough of that worn-out engine echoed through the empty lot. My heart jumped. No, it couldn't be. The same car, the same dim headlights, pulling up to the speaker again. My stomach churned. The same gaunt face appeared in the window, those hollow eyes fixed on the speaker. His voice, that same dry whisper, repeated the exact order: 2 Whoppers, large fries, and a black coffee. Deja vu washed over me, cold and unsettling. This wasn't normal. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he forgot something, or just really liked Whoppers, but the precision of his return, the identical order, it gnawed at me. I handed him the bag, avoiding eye contact. He paid with the same crumpled bills. He drove away, the silence he left behind feeling heavier than before. I stared at the clock, a knot forming in my gut. What if he came back again? The thought was absurd, but it lodged itself firmly in my mind, refusing to let go. The next hour felt eternal. And then, at 5 a.m., the engine coughed. My breath hitched. It was him. Again, the same car, the same driver, the same order. 2 Whoppers, large fries, and a black coffee. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a loop, and I was caught in it. His eyes, I noticed, seemed to sink deeper into their sockets each time. His skin grew paler, almost luminous in the dim drive-through light. He was becoming less substantial, more spectral with every passing hour. My hands trembled as I took his money. This continued every hour on the hour until dawn. The car, the man, the order. Each time he seemed a little more faded, a little less real. I was starting to question my own sanity. Was I dreaming? Was I just incredibly tired? Around 6 a.m., when he made his next appearance, his voice was barely a whisper. 2 Whoppers, large fries, black coffee. Is he still waiting? The last part was so faint I almost missed it. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just an order anymore. I stammered, who's waiting? But he just stared, those vacant eyes piercing through me. He took his bag and the car sputtered away, leaving me alone in the chilling silence, the question hanging heavy in the air. The restaurant felt colder. At 7 a.m., his appearance was even more unsettling. His form was almost entirely translucent now, a shimmering outline against the dark, and his whisper was clearer, though still laced with sorrow. "Don't let them forget him." Forget who? My mind raced. Was this a message, a plea? I felt a prickle of fear, a primal dread that settled deep in my bones. I was no longer just serving burgers, I was witnessing something profoundly wrong, something supernatural. He left, and I immediately felt a sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature. My breath fogged in the air. The fluorescent lights above me flickered violently, then settled back into their dull hum. It felt like the air itself was crying out. Then a faint, distant sound, a metallic screech followed by a sickening thud. It sounded like a car crash. I looked out the window, but the street was empty. The sound seemed to come from nowhere or everywhere. It sent a fresh wave of terror through me. The lights continued to flicker sporadically after each of his hourly visits. The temperature would drop, and that faint, ghostly crash sound would echo. It was a pattern, an awful symphony accompanying his increasingly desperate appearances. My mind started to piece things together. The restaurant, the drive-through, the hourly loop, the cryptic messages, the crash. There was a busy intersection just outside, notorious for accidents. Could it be connected? I remembered an old newspaper clipping found in the back office about a fatal accident years ago, right at that intersection. A young man hit by a drunk driver. He'd been on his way to get a late-night Burger King meal. My blood ran cold. Was the spectral driver the victim? Was he stuck, reliving his last moments, forever trying to complete his final, simple wish? The thought was horrifying, yet it fit. The 2 Whoppers, large fries, black coffee, a meal for 2. At 8 a.m., the car pulled up again. He was barely there, a shimmering haze. His whisper was clear, cutting through the static of the speaker. "He's still hungry. He never got his Whopper." My heart hammered against my ribs. "Who? Tell me who?" I pleaded, my voice cracking, but he just stared, those hollow eyes conveying an immense, silent sorrow. The message was for me, I realized, not to him. He took the bag, his spectral hand phasing through it slightly. The cold intensified and the lights flickered so violently I thought they'd shatter. The distant crash sound was louder this time, more distinct, like it was happening right outside. The air filled with a faint smell of burnt rubber and gasoline. It was sickening, a phantom scent that clung to the air long after he vanished. This wasn't just a ghost story, it was a sensory, terrifying experience. My shift was almost over, but the horror was just beginning. I knew he'd be back at 9 a.m. I felt a chilling certainty, a dread that settled deep in my bones. I had to know more, had to understand what he wanted. I frantically searched the internet on my phone, ignoring customers who occasionally came through. I typed in Burger King intersection accident. Old news articles popped up, confirming my terrible suspicion. The date, the time, the victim. The victim's name was David. He was 22, and he was on his way to meet his girlfriend for a late-night Burger King meal when he was struck. 2 Whoppers, large fries, black coffee. It was their usual order, meant for both of them. At 9 a.m., the car returned. It was almost invisible now, a mere distortion in the air. The driver's face was clearer than ever before, filled with an unbearable sorrow, but also a glimmer of desperate hope. This was it, the final message. His voice, no longer a whisper, but a clear, heartbreaking plea, echoed in my mind. He was waiting for me. We never got our last meal. Don't let her forget us. David and me. My blood ran cold. David and me. The driver wasn't David. He was the girlfriend. Trapped, endlessly reliving the moment, trying to communicate their tragic, unfulfilled last wish. The 2 Whoppers for them both. She had been driving to pick up their food when David was hit. She never made it to the Burger King. Now she was stuck, forever trying to complete that final journey to get their last meal, a loop of grief and longing. The air grew heavy, thick with a profound sadness. The lights flickered one last time, then settled. The phantom crash faded. The drive-through speaker went silent. She was gone. The loop for now had ended. But the silence was worse. It was the silence of emptiness, of an unfulfilled promise, of a lingering tragedy. I stood there, trembling, the weight of their story pressing down on me. I'll never forget that night. The morning manager found me pale and unresponsive, staring blankly at the drive-through window. I couldn't explain what happened, not fully. How could I, who would believe me? I quit that day. I couldn't bear to step foot in a Burger King again, especially not that one. Every Whopper, every drive-through window, every late-night intersection now held a chilling, spectral significance. The memory of her gaunt face, her desperate whispers, and David's unfulfilled last meal haunts me still. I see their story in every flickering light, hear it in every distant siren. They're still out there in that loop. Sometimes, late at night, I drive past that Burger King. The drive-through speaker still glows, an inviting beacon. But to me, it's a doorway to a past tragedy, a place where the restless dead yearn for their last wish. I still wonder if anyone else has seen her, if another night shift worker has heard her whispers, felt the cold, or smelled the phantom crash. Is she still making her hourly rounds, desperately seeking understanding? I often think about David and his girlfriend, forever stuck in that loop, forever hungry for those 2 Whoppers. It's a cruel, endless purgatory born from a simple, unfulfilled desire. The Burger King drive-thru, once a symbol of mundane late-night convenience, became for me a monument to a forgotten tragedy, a place where the veil between worlds thinned. Every time I hear a distant siren now, my heart leaps, imagining the screech of tires, the metallic crunch. It's a sound that will forever be linked to that night, to her desperate pleas. I try to tell myself it was just exhaustion, a vivid dream, but the details are too sharp, the emotions too real. The cold, the smell, her eyes, they were undeniably real, undeniably horrifying. I sometimes wonder if I did enough. Could I have offered her the Whoppers, even if she couldn't truly take them? Could I have broken the loop? The questions torment me. The Burger King still stands, and the drive-thru still operates. People still order their late-night meals, oblivious to the spectral drama that unfolds there after midnight, year after year. I sometimes catch myself checking the clock around 3 a.m., a morbid curiosity, a lingering fear. Will she appear again tonight? Is the loop still running, ceaseless and agonizing? I hope someone someday breaks the cycle. I hope David and his girlfriend find peace, their last meal finally delivered, their story finally heard, and their longing finally sated. But deep down, I know the truth. Some loops are eternal, some tragedies too profound to ever truly end, and some hunger, even for a Whopper, can transcend death itself. So if you ever find yourself at a Burger King drive-thru late at night and a decrepit car pulls up, remember their story. Listen closely to the order. You might just hear a plea from beyond the grave. And if you do, don't just dismiss it as a weird night. Because some secrets are whispered on the wind, some sorrows linger in the cold, and some Whoppers are forever waiting for the restless dead. Story 4. I just started as the new maintenance worker at an aging Burger King. My first big task, clear out the long-forgotten, damp basement. The manager, Brenda, warned me it hadn't been touched in decades. Stepping down into the gloom, a heavy sense of unease settled over me. The air was thick with must, rot, and a strange, metallic smell I couldn't place. It felt like walking into a tomb. Piles of forgotten equipment lay everywhere, defunct fryers, rusted soda machines, and crates of ancient, unidentifiable supplies. Each step echoed in the oppressive silence, amplifying my growing apprehension. The metallic tang in the air grew stronger as I ventured deeper, a coppery scent that pricked at the back of my throat. It was unsettling, distinctly out of place amidst the smell of damp concrete and decaying cardboard. I started by moving some old shelving units. Behind one particularly heavy stack, the concrete wall looked different. A section had been crudely bricked up and plastered over, a stark contrast to the original foundation. This wasn't structural, it was an intentional concealment. A shiver ran down my spine. Why would anyone go to such lengths to hide a part of this old basement? Curiosity, or perhaps foolishness, got the better of me. I found a crowbar among the discarded tools. The plaster chipped away easily, revealing the rough mortar beneath. Each strike of the crowbar against the old bricks echoed unnervingly. The metallic smell intensified, almost overwhelming now, mingling with the scent of disturbed dust and old concrete. Finally, a brick loosened, then another. A small, dark void appeared behind them. No light, no sound, just an inky blackness that seemed to absorb the dim light from my headlamp. The air that seeped from the gap was colder, shockingly so, and carried a faint, almost imperceptible scent of decay, distinct from the must of the main basement. I widened the opening enough to squeeze through, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. This happened to me, and I'll never forget that feeling of dread. The hidden room was small, barely big enough to stand upright, and eerily silent. The silence itself felt oppressive, designed to contain something, to prevent any sound from escaping. My headlamp beam cut through the absolute darkness, revealing disturbing artifacts. Rusty, heavy-duty restraints were bolted to a concrete pillar in the center of the room. My stomach churned. Strange, crude ritualistic symbols were painted on the concrete walls in what looked like dried, reddish-brown pigment. They were unsettling, primitive, and deeply sinister. Beneath the restraints, the concrete floor was discolored with numerous dark, unidentifiable stains. Some were black, others a deep, oxidized red. I didn't want to know their origin. My gaze fell upon a loose floorboard near the back wall. It seemed out of place, slightly raised. With trembling hands, I pried it open. Hidden beneath, I discovered a stack of old, leather-bound journals. Their pages were brittle with age, the covers worn smooth from countless readings. A cold dread enveloped me. I picked up the top journal, its weight unnerving. The first few entries were mundane, detailing restaurant operations, but then the tone shifted, subtly at first, then chillingly. I uncovered entries detailing offerings made to ensure the restaurant's prosperity. Initially vague, they became increasingly specific, hinting at dark rituals. The journal spoke of the hunger below, an entity that demanded sustenance. The prosperity of this Burger King, its very existence, was apparently tied to these unspeakable acts. My blood ran cold as I read explicit descriptions of ritualistic sacrifices. Not just animals, but humans, donated to ensure good business and loyal customers. The journal spanned decades, chronicling a horrifying lineage of managers and owners who continued the gruesome tradition. This wasn't a one-off, it was generational evil. They detailed the feeding of an unseen entity, a malevolent presence living beneath the foundations. The metallic smell in the air suddenly made horrifying sense. The air in the hidden room grew heavy, the silence pressing down on me. I felt a profound chill, a cold that seeped into my bones, not from temperature but from pure terror. Every creak of the old building above, every distant hum of the refrigerators now sounded sinister. The basement felt different, it was alive with a malevolent energy. I started hearing faint whispers just at the edge of hearing, like dry leaves rustling or distant, muffled pleas. My mind struggled to rationalize them away. I felt watched, an intense, unseen gaze piercing me from the darkest corners of the room. The horror of what transpired here was seeping into my very soul. The details in the journals were sickeningly precise. Descriptions of the tools used, the methods of preparation, the chilling lack of remorse from the perpetrators. I flipped to the last journal, its cover newer, its pages less brittle. The entries were recent, terrifyingly so. The last one was dated only weeks ago. The final entry warned of an impending harvest, a significant offering required to maintain the Burger King's current success. My breath caught in my throat. As I finished reading, a sudden icy breath washed over the back of my neck. It was colder than anything I'd ever felt, like the touch of death itself. A shadow, deeper than any natural darkness, moved in the periphery of my vision, shifting impossibly fast. It was there, then gone, leaving only an imprint of pure malice. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of pure terror. I wasn't alone. The entity, the hunger below, was here in this room with me. A low, guttural growl vibrated through the concrete floor, a sound that seemed to come from deep within the earth itself. It was a sound of immense, ancient hunger. I scrambled backward, dropping the journal, my hands shaking uncontrollably. Every instinct screamed at me to flee, to get out of this cursed place. I fumbled for the narrow opening I had created, my fingers scraping against the rough bricks. The unseen presence felt closer now, its cold breath a constant on my skin. I squeezed through the gap, tearing my uniform, not caring about the pain. My only thought was escape, to put as much distance as possible between me and that room. Bursting into the main basement, the stale air suddenly felt fresh. I didn't even bother to close the hidden room, just ran for the stairs, adrenaline surging. I didn't stop until I was outside, gasping for air in the cool night. The Burger King sign glowed ominously, its cheerful facade a grotesque lie. Shaken to my core, the weight of the secret crushed my spirit. I looked back at the restaurant, seeing it not as a fast food joint, but as a monument to terror. I drove home in a daze, the images of the restraints, the symbols, the words from the journals replaying endlessly in my mind. Sleep was impossible that night. The next morning, I called Brenda and quit. No explanation, no 2 weeks' notice. I just couldn't step foot in that place ever again. This happened to me. The knowledge haunts me. Every Burger King I see, every golden arch, every fast food joint makes me wonder what secrets lie beneath their foundations. Are there other basements, other hidden rooms, other entities being fed in exchange for cheap burgers and fries? The thought is a constant, gnawing dread. I'll never forget that night, the metallic smell, the cold breath, the shadow. They are burned into my memory, a permanent scar on my psyche. The Burger King continues its business, oblivious patrons ordering their meals, laughing, completely unaware of the true cost of their cheap burgers. They don't know the unspeakable acts that transpired beneath them, the decades of offerings made to an insatiable hunger that still lurks below. Sometimes I drive by at night. The golden arches glow, a beacon of normalcy, but I see past it into the darkness beneath. I see the hunger. I wonder if Brenda knows, if she's just another link in the chain, another caretaker for the horror. Her tired eyes often seem to hold a secret burden. The Burger King stands a monument to a terrible bargain. And I, the only one who knows its true secret, am left to live with the chilling certainty that the hunger below is always waiting, always fed. Story 5. For a decade, the Burger King grill was my domain. I took pride in our flame-grilled taste. Then, subtle anomalies began. This happened to me. It started subtly, disrupting my routine. A flicker, a strange hum. I dismissed them as fatigue. I'd seen a lot, nothing unnerved me, but these anomalies felt different, a creeping unease settling deep in my bones. The grill, my reliable companion, felt alien. Its roar sometimes held an odd undertone, a vibration through me. I prided myself on perfection, every burger a testament. This disruption threatened to unravel everything I knew. The flames, usually steady, started to deviate. When alone, they'd shimmer with unnatural green or purple hues. A flash of emerald green, then deep purple, fleeting, easily dismissed as a trick of light. My imagination, I thought. But it kept happening alone, a blink-and-you-miss-it phenomenon, leaving me questioning my own sanity. I'd rub my eyes, shake my head, flames returned to normal, but the unnatural color lingered, a cold knot. My shifts became a silent vigil. I anticipated flickers, half dreading, half expecting. A shiver ran down my spine. The hues were too vivid, too distinct. They felt deliberate, like the grill spoke a secret language in fire. I checked gas lines, vents, everything, all perfectly maintained. The mystery deepened, unnerving me further. I asked the night manager. He just laughed. Only when you burn burgers. His dismissal fueled my obsession. I knew what I saw, not faulty bulbs or tired eyes. Something genuinely wrong, something unnatural here. The flames pulsed, a silent, unsettling rhythm. Green, purple, back to normal. A burning question mark just for me. Then came sounds, faint, distorted whispers from the grill's vents. I thought it was the extractor fans. Muffled radio static, I convinced myself, but the static coalesced, forming patterns like words struggling to break through. I'd pause, spatula in hand, listening, the kitchen quiet except for sizzle and that faint, unsettling murmur. It sounded like distant voices, submerged, a cacophony of lost thoughts trapped within the metal. Just the fans, I'd mutter, reassuring myself. But the sound felt too organic, too human, a chorus of the unheard. I turned off other equipment. The grill hummed alone. Whispers persisted, sometimes growing clearer. Fragments of sound, a sigh, a gasp, a faint moan that sent a chill down my spine. I dreaded quiet moments, late shifts. That's when the grill came alive, its secrets echoing in silence. Colleagues noticed my distraction. You okay? Spacing out. Just tired, I lied, unable to articulate the horror. The whispers became a constant companion, a low thrum beneath my consciousness, waiting for silence. Then came physical oddities. Raw patties subtly jumped on the prep counter, just a twitch. I'd turn away, look back, a patty a fraction of an inch moved. I blamed vibrations. The grill, even when off, hummed low, a deep vibration I could feel in my chest. I put my hand on its cold surface, feeling the phantom thrum, not heat, an internal pulse. And the taste, oh the taste, a new, strangely rich flavor emerged. Customers raved. I tasted it too, undeniably superior. A depth, a smokiness, an ethereal quality transcending beef and flame. The mystery, flames, whispers, humming, all connected to this addictive flavor, a gift or darker. Sales soared, our Burger King known for special flame-grilled taste. People drove miles for our asterisk Whoppers. Colleagues credited my prowess. Magic touch, I forced a smile, knowing the magic wasn't mine. The grill was changing, not just a machine. An entity consuming unseen, transforming into terrifying flavor. My fault-finding became obsessive, hours poring over schematics, dismantling panels, nothing was found. I called a specialist, he found nothing amiss. Cleanest grill in years, he commented, puzzled. But the whispers grew clearer, more insistent, no longer static. I almost made out fragmented words. Sometimes they sounded like please, help me, no, so faint I questioned my mind. Other times, distant screams echoing from an agonizing space. Cold dread settled, this was real. I became a phantom, moving mechanically, straining ears, searching for the next unnatural flicker. Sleep offered no escape. Whispers followed me home, weaving into nightmares of burning flesh. I avoided eye contact, afraid they'd see the terror, the unspoken horror consuming me. The rich taste, once pride, now tasted like ash. I couldn't eat a Whopper, too heavy. This wasn't just a grill, it was a maw insatiable hunger disguised as appliance. I was its accomplice. I'll never forget that night, late closing, kitchen silent save the grill, flames pulsed violently, green and purple. The whispers rose to a cacophony, a swirling vortex, no longer static. A chorus of agony filled the space. Then a single chilling voice broke through, deep, guttural, ancient, hungry, more, it vibrated through my bones. In that horrifying moment, I understood. The rich taste wasn't just flavor. The grill consumed unseen, sinister life force. I quit shortly after, haunted by its secret, wondering what makes that flame-grilled taste unique if others unknowingly partake.